Hello, good morning. You know what day it is. It is Stacking Sunday. Sorry. I've got a cup of coffee, my computer, all my screens set up to work on yet another stack. And oh yeah, I need to remember I look at the camera. I'm such a YouTube noob. Today we're going to look at a new target, but as it is now February, perhaps it's a nice idea to look back a bit on what we did in January. So if you follow me on my computer, Cyril will get to that later, because first let's look at what we did. We started this Stacking Sunday playlist with the Heart Nebula, and I made a follow-up video because I messed up, and eventually it turned out to be this image that I created. And it turned out that the week later we were working on an object which is nearby, because this Soul Nebula, you can already see on this side, is very close to that previous target, which is called the Heart Nebula. And I stitched them together, and it's a bit a weird image, because the right part, the Heart Nebula, is in a different palette as the Soul Nebula. If you want to know why, if you haven't seen the video, then I suggest looking at those Stacking Sunday episodes. And last week we were working on a, well, in comparison, a bit underwhelming target. And I shot too little data. This is the Witchhead Nebula, which is located close to the constellation of Orion. Did we indeed then now see all the targets that we shot? So we started with the Heart Nebula and the Soul Nebula. We did the Witchhead Nebula. The Butterfly Nebula already was stacked, I believe. I think, yeah, that's why we didn't do that in Stacking Sunday. So the next target on the list is the Pelican Nebula, which is in the constellation of Cygnus. And this already has a stacked file. So, oh yeah, it was also a bit underwhelming. So this already has been stacked. The Crab Nebula then. Did we stack that already? Yes, we did that too. The Hercules cluster. No, we didn't stack the Hercules cluster. And I have two sets of data here. Somewhere in 2013, that's a long time ago. No, 2023, I upgraded my EdgeHD 8-inch to an EdgeHD 9.25. And I think I wanted to show a comparison between the two. Well, let's dive in, right? So I only have, well, not that many lights. And I have no clue whether or not these lights are of any particular quality. Let's first have a peek at how these subs look. Let me skip through a few of these images. I didn't do any dithering here for some kind of reason. Oh, there's a satellite. You see them a lot. This is a dither. Dithering is moving the telescope after every other sub, or every sub, whichever you choose. Another satellite. We'll see what Cyril makes out of it. And the 9.25 data, I already see it isn't a very fair comparison, as the EdgeHD 8 data seems to be shot at 120 seconds each. And the 9.25 data is 180 seconds. So there is already a difference. And I also see another difference. Apparently I forgot to focus. Yeah, this isn't sharp at all. Nevertheless, I think this is Stacking Sunday. We're not going to care about quality. It's about, let's see what we can make of this. So we'll have to do two stacks. One for the EdgeHD 8, one for the EdgeHD 9¼ Yeah, both of these are in prime focus, which means there is no reducer applied. So let's go. Let's start with the EdgeHD 8 data. Let me clear my cluttered workspace. I don't like a cluttered workspace. People who know me might think, but Martin, your room is always a mess and your desk is always a mess. Yes, that doesn't mean I like it. Okay, 120 seconds of subs, 25 subs. Nice. Let's put them in here. This is M13. Let's call this Edge 8. We can convert them. Let's go into calibration. This is, by the way, shot with a different kind of camera as the previous episodes of the Stacking Sunday. With this camera, there is no such thing as taking shortcuts. For this camera, I really need to apply darks. So these were the 120-second subs. Yes, I can see it here. So I will pick my darks from the dark library. So a dark is essentially an image with the lid on. You can compare it to taking an image with your camera and forgetting to remove the lid. The result will be that you see all the defects that are in every image. If you stack those, you will end up with a stacked dark, which the software, in this case Serial, can use to remove those defects from the image. That's calibration for you. I will probably also have some flats. I think this was L Pro data, because I was shooting a lot with the L Pro filter in the beginning of 2023. You can see, by the way, that if I switch from one flat to the other, which is another kind of calibration file, there's this dark blotch here in the image, and that's the dust mode. And on the 27th of May it was there, on the 23rd it wasn't there. So that's why it is important to get the correct flats into your equation. I'll use this one. Okay, so now we have darks, we have flats. There's also a tick box here called bias, but those biases are applied in the flat already. So biases are only used if you create a flat. Or if you looked at my previous Stacking Sunday videos, when you take shortcuts, then you need to use those biases. Okay, let's debayer the result, because I want color data after the calibration. And let's go. Time for some coffee. I took a long time setting things up. My coffee is a bit cold. Okay, very blue. That's odd. Usually you get a very green image. Don't know where I messed up this time. Doesn't matter. We're going to ignore all of this. We're just going into registration. It's on global star alignment, and I'm going to register it. Should be plenty of stars to register. Just imagine living inside such a globular cluster. I think if it would be possible, I have no idea, but if it would be possible, it would be very hard to do this hobby, I think. Okay, now it's suddenly turned green. Let's see the plot. Oh wow. Apparently, it seemed that I switched or shifted the telescope or something. There's a set of data which has a very high full width half maximum, and there's a set of data that has a very low full width half maximum. Perhaps I made that same mistake as with what I did with the EdgeHD 9¼ that I forgot to focus, and that I halfway the session thought, oh, I forgot to focus. Let's do the autofocus routine first. We can probably also see that if I run through this is the first image. Oh, it wasn't dark yet as well, perhaps. but these are not really that sharp, although I must say they look sharper than those images of the EdgeHD 9¼ And it also seems to me that I started this image run relatively early. So if I look at that first file, let me see what the FITS header says. This was shot at 10 to 9 in the evening. I'm going a bit on a tangent here, but I'm just curious. Let's type, and now let's look for M13. What was I thinking? So I started imaging this with the sun barely down. So that's why we had blue instead of green. So what will we do to make it a fair comparison? How many images do I have for the EdgeHD 9¼ I've got 20. I'm just going to untick the first 5. I don't care. So now I should have 20 left. If I go to the stacking tab, it says stacking 20 image of the 25. Am I taking too long in explaining things? Yes, I will use the cut tool. There we go. Very green. That's normal. Let's go into color calibration, photometric color calibration. It will use the star catalog, which has all the color data that stars should have in an image, and it will use that information to adjust the color balance in the image so that the stars are approaching that proper value in the image. It knows already the data from the FITS header from the images, because I was using an ASI Air and a astronomy cooled camera, which makes it easier for software like Cyril to do these kind of things. Otherwise I would have needed to type and then click, and the data would be there as well. Okay, so now it is color balanced. It looks okay. I will just do a auto stretch and then be done with it, because in its linear form you can hardly see the stars, see? So we're going to do histogram transformation, and I click the magic button here. I apply this and I will save it as a TIFF. Let's quickly go into the 9¼ data, because this is taking too long already. Sorry for this. 9¼ so let's change this into 925. We're going into calibration again. This time I need different darks, because this was not 120 seconds but 180. Let's use the 2023 darks, and this time obviously it was a different telescope, so the flats needs to be changed to the proper flats as well. Let's use the 9¼ no filter data from the 30th of July. If it doesn't work, then we'll try and find something else. Some more iced coffee. No, need new coffee in a bit. Let's register it. Nice to see a globular cluster of detection icons. Let's see what the plot shows when the registration is done. I'm sure that these will all have a high value, but will there be big variance? No. But yeah, this is a very high value for full width half maximum, which essentially means that these images are not in focus. But we already knew that. We'll just go into stacking. Let's do a color calibration again, and it has succeeded, and we'll do a auto stretch as well. Bam. Well, apparently I didn't get all the dust modes with the flats. This video is already taking too long to my liking, so I'll leave it like this. Let's save it off as a TIFF. Oh yeah, let's call this M13. This is 20 times 180 seconds with the EdgeHD 9.25. So do we see a difference? Yes, we do. What is the difference? Well, first of all, the image is a bit bigger in the EdgeHD 9.25, and the 8-inch is a little less zoomed in. Obviously the focus is a bit better on the EdgeHD 8, but if we just ignore that, then we can definitely see that the EdgeHD 9.25 will allow me to get some details out of the images that are perhaps a bit harder to get with the 8-inch version. I see, for instance, a galaxy in the there's a galaxy here. Very zoomed in, sorry. Can we find that same galaxy in this image? So where would that be? I have trouble finding my bearings. This dark smudge here is here, so I think it's just outside of the frame. We could also, shall we do that? Yeah, why not? We're taking a lot of time anyway already. Let's get the stacked two files, add them as two separate subs in the conversion tab, and I will call this M13 registered, because I'm going to register these two images on top of each other, essentially aligning the two, because there was a different orientation, as you might have seen. Then I'll put the view mode in auto stretch. I'll unlink it so I don't get the green bias. So I have two registered images now. So you see now these two are aligned. Where was that that little galaxy? It was here, right? Let me see. Yeah, it was. No, it was on the bottom here. See that this group of stars here? That's this group of stars here. So that's indeed why that galaxy was just outside of the field of view for the EdgeHD 8. Cool. I think we need to conclude it. Thanks for watching. I'll go back and go into my editing of the other videos, because I think it's due time for another normal video, don't you think? And I also have a few funny videos that came out of a course that I was giving with another volunteer at the observatory, the Cosmos Observatory, where I'm a volunteer. See you next week on another episode of Stacking Sunday, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.